Hey everybody, Chris here. Welcome. We're going to be talking about Dogecoin tonight, and Dogecoin is the best cryptocurrency. I'm going to tell you why. So we've been talking a lot about the banks and interest rates and what's going on over the past few nights, and I'm going to push that aside tonight because just getting to be a little too much about the banks, hearing about the banks, and kind of tired about talking about the banks. But what do banks have, right? Banks have money, right? And you put your money in the bank, right? So the bank can save it for you, right? Hold on to it for you. And then when you need to spend money, right? If you don't have enough, you go to the bank, right? And you withdraw, or you've got an ATM card, right? And that goes from your bank to whatever company you're buying something from with an ATM. But why not Dogecoin? Dogecoin is the best cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the best of all the cryptos that you can use as a currency. So we're going to talk about that. But first, let me drop down here in the corner and we'll see where the price is right now. 720. We got 720 for Doge. Hey, last night when we entered the stream, we had just hit 7 cents. So 720, not bad. Had a little bit of run over the last hour and settled down just a little bit. But that's the price. But we don't want to talk about the price, and we don't want to talk about an investment in Dogecoin because we don't want Dogecoin to be a security, right? We don't want it to be a security. We want it to be like Bitcoin, right? Actually, we'd rather it be a currency, not a commodity. We're going to be talking about that kind of stuff as well. All kind of interesting, what the SEC is doing to try and push cryptocurrency aside. There's a story this afternoon about Signature Bank and bidders who may want to take over the bank. Would be free to take over the bank, but there would be a caveat there, and that they wouldn't be able to have any relationship with crypto exchanges. And it's like, what? If you own a bank, and there's nothing illegal about that. So how can the SEC tell them that you can do that, but you can't? It is a war on crypto. There's no doubt. And this is all leading to one thing, and that is in the United States. The United States wants to create a central business digital currency, CBDC, whatever, their digital dollar, and they don't want crypto to interfere with that. So they are trying to push crypto out. That's what they're doing. But crypto is worldwide. Crypto can't be stopped. So even if the United States, which won't ban crypto, they're trying to do this other kind of sneaky thing. But we know what's going on. We know what's going on. And I know one, Brian Armstrong, who runs Coinbase, who has, a multi-million-dollar business all based on the trading of cryptocurrencies. He's not going to take that line down, right? I don't think Robinhood's going to take that line down because they make a lot of money off of crypto as well. So I don't know. I think the SEC has a big fight ahead of it, and the judges are getting involved. This whole thing about Voyager and Binance.us. Binance.us has put in a bid to buy Voyager, and the SEC kind of stepped in and was saying, no, you can't. But a judge is saying, yes, they can. There's no reason. What is the SEC saying? Oh, Binance.us is selling unregistered securities. And what does the judge say? The judge says, you tell me what a security is then. Because right as of now, the SEC hasn't laid out any rules about what's a security. They fall back on this 1933 Howey test, which is so vague and like 1933. They're still referring to that. Pretty crazy what's going on. So what does this all mean? Well, here's Gary Gensler, right? He's sticking to his guns. Proof of stake tokens could be securities. And is Ethereum in trouble? Because Ethereum, what did they do last year? They transitioned from proof of work to proof of stake. Might that transition get Ethereum into trouble. And then should Dogecoin change from proof of work to proof of stake? And if you've heard me talk about it over the past months, I've always been saying no. Dogecoin is a proof of work cryptocurrency and should remain a proof of work cryptocurrency. It works fine like it is. And the closer it stays in its relationship to Bitcoin, I think the better Dogecoin is going to be. But what does Gary say, right? So Gary says, the investing public is anticipating a return, anticipating something on these tokens, whether they're proof of stake tokens, where they're also looking to get returns, getting 2%, 4%, 18% returns. Well, yeah. But guess what? People also invest in. You ever heard of this thing called gold, right? Yeah, people invest in gold. And why do they invest in gold? To get returns, right? Gold is a commodity. It's a commodity. So that doesn't pass the test, right? Not at all. Whatever they're promoting, putting in a protocol, locking up their tokens is a protocol that's often a small group of entrepreneurs and developers. I would suggest that each of these token operators seek to come into compliance. The same with intermediaries. It's like, what? Come into compliance with what? There's no rules. It's just the SEC saying, that's a security. But the judges are saying, nope, not good enough. And we're going to see with this whole Ripple, the XRP case with the SEC, which of course drags on and on and on year after year. I think the SEC was just thinking that Ripple would just fold and say whatever, but they're not. They are not. And they're fighting it, and they're fighting it, and they're fighting it. And we hope to get a ruling on that soon. It's going to upend this whole thing that the SEC is talking about. But it got me thinking, this whole thing about security versus commodity and all that. So I was like, okay, well, let's look at gold. Is gold a commodity? Is gold a currency? Well, gold used to be a currency, like in the 1800s, right? You could buy things with gold, right? But today, what is it? What is a currency? It's a generally accepted form of money, including coins and paper notes, which is issued by a government and circulated within an economy. Used as a medium of exchange for goods and services, currency is the basis for trade. Interesting. Except for that issued by a government piece, you could say cryptocurrencies are currencies, right? It's a currency. And in fact, El Salvador is actually accepting Bitcoin as payment, Bitcoin as a currency. So Bitcoin in some countries is now seen as a currency. And that could be the same for Doge as well. But what's a commodity? A commodity, basic term, can be bought and sold, interchangeable with other commodities of the same type, most often used as materials in the production of other goods and services. Most often used as materials in the production of other goods. Well, that doesn't sound like Bitcoin, right? That doesn't sound like Bitcoin at all. A commodity? Yeah, I don't get that. So when you look at gold, you say, okay, well, what is gold? Gold, an article of trade and commerce. It's not a service, and it's priced and treated the same regardless of the producer. True. A currency, gold can be a medium of exchange. Gold is not in itself money, but can be exchanged for money. Gold is not a money system commonly used by any nation. That gets an X now. So gold is not a currency. Gold is a commodity. But Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, can be a currency. The government doesn't want any of that. So they've already kind of pigeonholed Bitcoin as being a commodity. So I'm saying, well, then so should Dogecoin, because Dogecoin works the same as Bitcoin, and in fact, even better. And I'll show you that in a minute. First, we want to talk about non-securities. Okay, so if you have securities, what's a non-security? Investopedia says, well, the real assets, investments that aren't available for purchase or sale on public exchanges. Are crypto exchanges public exchanges? I think so. So I still don't get why Bitcoin's a commodity. I still don't get that, though. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. So what is Dogecoin? Well, meet Dogecoin, the meme cryptocurrency, right? Dogecoin, cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Although it's a very different animal than either of those popular coins, Dogecoin was originally created, at least in part, lighthearted joke for crypto enthusiasts, and it took its name from the Doge meme. Billy Marcus and Jackson Palmer created Dogecoin in 2013. They used the logo of the Doge meme. Doge was really started to poke fun at Bitcoin. In its early days, a community of enthusiasts arranged publicity stunts to raise Dogecoin's profile. Excuse me there, need a drink. And then Dogecoin took off in 2021, right? But how does Dogecoin work? Because we talk a lot about its history and its price. Like many other coins, Dogecoin runs on its own dedicated blockchain. So this is what keeps it different from proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies. Dogecoin has its own blockchain. It doesn't sit on, it's not a token, let's say. It doesn't sit on Ethereum or Polygon or any of these others. It has its own blockchain. Dogecoin's digital ledger constantly being updated with new transactions. Network uses cryptography to keep all transactions secure. Dogecoin uses a proof-of-work consensus mechanism. Miners use computers to solve, basically verifying transactions on the blockchain, and they get paid in Dogecoin for doing that. All right, that's how Dogecoin works. It is not proof of stake, and I don't want it to be proof of stake. It should maintain proof of work. So what is this? Oh yeah, I see that. Boom, 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 boom. Goodbye. Took care of that, Jason. So Dogecoin may be used for payments and purchases, and it is not a very effective store of value. And do you know why that is? Because there's no lifetime cap on the number of Dogecoins created through mining. The mining is inflationary in terms of the overall count of Dogecoin. There's no hard cap. Dogecoin just keeps getting added year after year after year. Eventually it becomes somewhat of a decreasing inflation, as I call it, because the percentage of the overall amount gets smaller and smaller each year. And inflation will overtake that in a number of years. In fact, this year it already overtook it. So that's how Dogecoin works. And if you compare it to Bitcoin, Dogecoin has a few significant differences compared to Bitcoin. It's quicker and easier for miners to complete the mathematical equations that complete and record transactions, and it makes Dogecoin more efficient for processing payments. So Dogecoin works better as a currency than Bitcoin does. Where it takes 10 minutes for the process to ratify new blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain, it takes only a minute, and we think it's even faster now on the Dogecoin blockchain. Another significance difference, no lifetime cap on Doge. There is a lifetime cap on Bitcoin. And what is that? What does that say about Bitcoin? That's why Bitcoin is being heralded as this big store of value, more like gold. That's not what Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned when he created, he, she, they, whatever Satoshi is, created Bitcoin, peer-to-peer digital transactions is what Bitcoin was made to be. And now people just are buying it to hoard it, thinking the value is going to go up. But not Doge. Well, some of us think Doge, but Doge we want to use as a currency, though. We want to get it out there and use it, and that will make Dogecoin grow. That's what we're talking about. And that's why I think Dogecoin is the best cryptocurrency. And in fact, here's Coinpedia. Right today, Dogecoin becomes a payment option on Unstoppable Domains, introduces Doge into their payment options. So when you get a domain, you can use Doge when you check out to buy something. That's what we're talking about. Increasing the use of Dogecoin for payment. So price analysis, yes. I mean, Doge goes up in value, goes down in value. But you know what else does? Currencies. Currencies go up in value and down in value. And you can trade currencies. You can trade, the US dollar versus the euro versus the British pound versus other currencies, just like cryptocurrencies as well. But the United States government will never call cryptocurrencies a currency by definition. That won't happen. They want to make their own digital dollar. But we were watching as Doge went down to 7.057. It actually was lower than that yesterday and came up to 7 cents. Where's Doge trading now? 7.19. So that's pretty good from where Doge was, especially with all of the stuff going on about the banks and interest rates and all that. Cryptocurrencies, trading is holding up very well. Holding up well. Here's Traders Union experts with Dogecoin outlook. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the future prices of Dogecoin and what they may be. But I want to talk more about, again, the use of Dogecoin. And again, why I think that it's the best cryptocurrency, because it does do more for actually being used as payment, buying things with Dogecoin, using Dogecoin, which is why I hope Elon is able to somehow get Dogecoin embedded into Twitter, because it can actually function that way, which would be awesome for Doge. But we'll see how all of that plays out. That's going to take time. I've bought Dogecoin. I've used Dogecoin. I've used it. I bought AMC tickets last summer to a couple movies using Doge. Works really great on the AMC app. Took the Doge right out of my wallet to wallet. Worked great. Used BitPay. Went through BitPay. That's okay. It's using Dogecoin. And then Tesla, I bought Cybertruck whistle, the Cyber whistle on the Tesla merch site, wallet to wallet. That's great. And I've paid people directly for services with Doge. I've tipped people with Dogecoin. So that's what Doge is for. It's being used as a currency. And I think it's going to just continue to grow and grow over time. Are we expecting the price to go up? The prices of cryptocurrencies? Again, we talked about the 4-year cycles the other day, and that those 4-year cycles in cryptocurrency are real, and we're going to see cryptocurrencies going up in value and go down in value. That happens, but that's the same for other currencies, and it's the same for gold too. Look at the price of gold. Gold is up over $1,900 now, right? People trade this, and it's a commodity. So this whole security thing, I don't completely get. I don't know how that's going to play out. Is Ethereum in trouble because Gary Gensler is saying that it's proof of stake, and so it's going to be deemed to be a security, and that's going to mean that exchanges are going to have to go through a whole bunch of due diligence and register securities on their platforms in order to trade, like the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. And so it'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out. Just kind of waiting to see it. But a lot of it is going to hinge on this Ripple XRP case and how that gets solved. So that's what I see. So what's going on here, guys? CDM, welcome. You saw Doge jump to 7.4. Yep, it did. Doge did have a little pump here right before I came up on the stream. A nice little wick came up, wicked up to about 742 or so, and then came right back down. But that's okay. We're up to 723 right now while I'm streaming, so that's good. And look at BTC hanging up over 25,000. That's amazing. All of this stuff going on with all the banks. And look at Bitcoin. Hanging over 25K. Hey, Jason, how are you? Salvador? Dogecoin 20 cents in 2025? Maybe more. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night. What's the price of Dogecoin in 2025? So join me Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, Boston time, where I am. Don't know where you guys are, but 9 o'clock my time. And we'll be talking about Dogecoin in 2025. Is Fed now part of the CBDC agenda? I think it is. I think that's how they're going to start. Is they're going to start with those people that need to make payments like that, which is generally lower class in the US that would use Fed now. And that's how they're going to start rolling it out, right? They're going to use that. I do think so. Yep, you're on it, CDM. You're on it. Hey, Martin, how are you? Hope BTC stays at 25. I do too. That would be awesome to see support at 25K and have Bitcoin jump up. Tom Crown today was showing some very interesting support resistance levels in terms of some diagrams of whether Bitcoin, if it is able to jump up above a certain level, it's then going to do a little retest and take off. But if it does another and it doesn't hold that level and it comes down and breaks, it'll go down. So we'll see. But Tom was really good about showing that, and pretty interesting. We'll see how that plays out. I like Tom. He's a lot of fun to watch with the charts. I almost bought some silver rounds today with Doge. No. Doge will last long term. Knockoffs will dwindle away. Yeah, and you know what? There's this other one, right? That I bookmarked here. What is the next Dogecoin? This was an article I saw today. What is the next Dogecoin? And you know what? I'm not even going to show it because you know why? The next Dogecoin is Dogecoin. That's right. Because all the crap that they show are all tokens. None of them are a coin. None of them have their own blockchain. So none of them could actually be the next Dogecoin. Because they're ERC20 tokens or BNB tokens, BSC tokens. That's what they are. Dogecoin has its own blockchain. Does its own thing. Hey, William, how are you? If BTC gets to 30K or even 33, what do you think Doge would be at? Shouldn't Doge be higher since it was like 8 to 9 cents when BTC was at 20 to 24? Yeah, but I do show this chart that shows the relationship between Doge and BTC, and Doge has been going down. So this relationship between Dogecoin and Bitcoin since the 1st of February has gone down from 0.0004% down below 0.0003%. So Dogecoin or Bitcoin has been holding pretty well while Dogecoin was drifting down. So yeah, first we need to get Doge back up over 8 cents so that Doge and Bitcoin are back in relationship like they had back here on 11th and 12th of February, let's say. That would be a good first step. And Doge needs a little pump to do that. And usually for Doge to pump like that, it needs a little bit of a catalyst. It needs something to get it moving like that. And unfortunately, unstoppable domains accepting Dogecoin as payment just isn't enough to really move it enough. So we need a little more. We get up to that level, and then we can start talking about sort of level price predictions going on. If Bitcoin goes up over 30K, then what would Dogecoin be? But I'd like to see Doge at least get back to that level in comparison with Bitcoin. That would be pretty good. Yeah, we just need acceptance. When we get started getting paid in crypto, the game over. Yeah, there are some mayors. I think the mayor of Miami and mayor of New York were taking their salaries in Bitcoin. Kind of interesting. So it's a start. But again, that's all Bitcoin. I don't think Doge would ever be in that category, but you never know. You never know what'll happen. I think it does take someone who has the fortitude who doesn't care what people say, like Elon Musk, to incorporate it and make it work. He's already proven it can. Like, I mean, he made that burnt musk smell, that cologne, sold out, but it was you could only use Dogecoin to buy it. Sold out. It takes stuff like that to just kind of get people, thinking about the idea of Dogecoin as a currency. But that's what that by having your own blockchain, right? Like Doge has, it can work on its own. It doesn't need anything else. It's not sitting on anything else. And that's what makes it so good. And it didn't have any airdrops or pre-sales or anything like that. That's another thing the SEC talks about with these proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies. Doge didn't have any of that. Fair launch. It was just put out there. And even Billy and Jackson didn't mint themselves a whole stash of Doge. They had to buy it like everybody else. So... Hey, bye. Well, you can rewatch it. We already talked about Dogecoin as a currency. And what's a currency? What's a commodity? What's a security? We kind of covered that already, but you can catch that on the replay when we're done. Can the FOMC meeting be a catalyst for a small pump? It could. If they decide to pause and there's no interest rate hike next week, I think that would be good for the markets. But I kind of don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to stick with 25 basis points. Let me see. What is the CME saying, right? CME. Let's see what the CME says right now. 79% now think it's going to be a 25 basis point hike, with only 20% at 0. So right now, it's looking like most likely a 25 basis point. Europe just raised their lending rate 50 basis points this morning. So I think that's why this went up. I think more and more people are thinking next week Fed's going to raise 25 basis points again. They think they got a handle on the banks now with these so-called not bailouts, whatever they are. And so that's what they're looking at. So I think that'll be fine. That's already priced in. There's not going to be a pump there. But if the Fed, I mean, a lot can happen in the next few days. We'll see. But there's still some feeling that there may be a pause, and that would be good for the markets. But we'll see about that. Bum, 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 bum. Ice Cube had the biggest MyDoge wallet transfer for the Pick 3 basketball team. Cool. I don't know what's going on with MyDoge. I think they lost their bot on Twitter. And so we can't have tipping on Twitter right now or something like that. I don't know what the deal was on that. But yeah, MyDoge wallet works great with Doge. It's a fun little app. What else is going on? This whole thing with Shib and Bone. Bone has just been going down, down, down. So a lot of talk about Shibarium and whether Shibarium was the code for Shibarium stolen from someone else. There are some in Reddit saying the Shibarium is pretty weak. Not a serious layer 2. Don't know why anybody would build on it. So there's a lot of FUD out there about Shibarium going on. There are others that saying that there are only pieces of Shibarium that were probably taken off of GitHub, which is a place where people share code. And so whoever was putting the code for Shibarium together might have been taken bits and pieces off of GitHub. That could be. Here's what they say. Boom, boom. They say, dispelling some FUD, ever since we did the alpha network deployment, few chain IDs were picked randomly, 417, 517, 917. Apparently this 917 chain ID was one that another project was using. And so I don't know how these get randomly chosen, these numbers, but a lot of people saying, well, 917 was used in this other project, and so you must have stolen your code from that project. So that's what all of that was going on. And so, yes, it's FUD. It's just FUD. So he says the chains weren't registered anywhere at that time. So 917 must have been a good number. I made a mistake to not recheck when the puppy network was launched. So that's the beta network. Without getting into any fist fights, I will be redeploying a new version of the beta network with the new chain idea. So that's all it looks like it is. But last night when we were on the stream, Bone was just dumping because of this FUD out there. And I didn't know what it was at the time because it was just happening while we were streaming. It's just like, oh my God. But yeah, the Bone token took a real hit. Came down to, $1.15 earlier. Now seems to be stabilizing a bit. We'll see how that plays out more and more. But I mean, a lot of there's a lot of, from Bitcoin maxis to other so-called serious crypto guys that are just bashing the Shibarium right now on Reddit. And, we'll see how it plays out. The one thing that Shibarium has is they've got a lot of ready users, all those SHIB token holders. And if people want to make a project on Shibarium, you're going to have a whole slew of ready users, to use it, whatever you make. So that could be a good thing. Plus, the more Shibarium gets used, the more SHIB tokens get burned. It's a win-win for the SHIB community. It's kind of neat how they set it up. But yeah, this FUD has really hurt the Bone token, but I haven't bought any. I'm not planning on using anything. I don't do metaverse stuff and NFTs and those things. I have a bunch of SHIB tokens because I think SHIB is going to take off someday. But yeah, that was really something. We were watching, this big dump last night on Bone. So I did want to cover that as a follow-up to what was going on last night. Yep, that was all FUD. Coder said SHIB didn't steal anything. When you're on top, everyone wants to knock you down. SHIB will take off. That's right. I'm not going to discount SHIB, not at all, because we saw what happened back in 2021, and there's so many avid users and supporters. There are some who, it was a bear market, right? But people get bored and people just like, that's just, I'm gonna put my money into some new token, get out of SHIB. Okay, you could do that, but they're not going to be a top 20 cryptocurrency like SHIB is. AI thinks Doge will be $10 by April. Not the AI that I've been referencing, because I've been doing that for a couple streams. I did one last week, which was an AI prediction, and it was like, by the end of this year, that Doge would probably be 16 cents was what the AI was saying. 16 cents. Oh, an April Fool's thing. Jason. God, I hate April Fools. And it's not even April 1st yet. Okay, when I stream on April 1st, we can do all the April 1st jokes, all right? We'll do it all then. We'll do it all then. What else did I have? I had that outlook. I had the SHIB thing there. Yeah, there was this talk about this, 800 billion SHIB moving. And where did it go? It went from Shiba staking to some unknown wallet. Some whale moved a big bunch of SHIB. So, I don't know. Don't really follow the SHIB movements. And then, yeah, we did that. We got the CME and we got the Doge. Again, selling pressure. I don't see that in Doge right now. I don't see a lot of selling pressure. I see a lot of manipulation. I see a lot of trading going on. Shorting there hasn't been a lot of shorting going on right now. I think the shorters are staying away, because I think the shorters believe that Bitcoin is going to take off. And there's a good chance of that, and they don't want to get wrecked because of what's going on with the banks. And if Bitcoin takes off, we're going to have all these other cryptos taking off too. So that's going to be awesome. All right, that's it for tonight, guys. I have to I got to go get something else to drink. I drank up all my water. Got a little tickle in my throat. But yeah, we're looking at Doge trading very well. Again, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, we're going to be talking about Doge in 2025 price prediction. We're going to be going in like that. And even though Dogecoin is not a security, right? Its price can still go up, just like gold's price can go up. So Dogecoin is a commodity. That's what we're going to be talking about. If the SEC thinks Bitcoin is a commodity, then so is Doge. And Doge operates and works better as a cryptocurrency than Bitcoin or anything else. That's the message for the day. Hope you're all well, and hope to see you tomorrow night. I'm going to put on the Dogecoin 24/7 live stream after this stream ends. So you can always check out the charts that I always have on overnight, all day tomorrow. I check in on the comments every now and then. So leave a comment, leave a like on that. as well as this as well. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe as well. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.